Hello, hello, everyone. It's 7 o'clock on the dot, and I think we're going to get started because it's a summer night and we should enjoy our evening. So we'll get all this business stuff done, and it will be recorded as well. So if anybody wants to come back to watch, you can do that. Or if you're just joining us or going to be watching this recording later, welcome later as well. My name is Megan Christensen. I'm the Acting Academy Director, and I love this program, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. Let's see, on the here right now, Julie, your picture's up. Everyone, Julie wave. Julie's our acting director in American Fork. And Scylla should be on here soon too, and she's our director for Draper. So our purpose tonight is really to kind of go over the year for Acting Company. For those that are still, deciding for sure if they're going to participate. Everybody that is on here are people who have been cast in Acting Company for next year. And I know we're down to these, final few weeks as you're making decisions and accepting. And then if you've already accepted, you'll be receiving a contract via email as well. And so that is a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight, is going over the contract and just making sure that everybody's clear about kind of the year and expectations and what everything will entail, so we can start off and hit the ground running. Okay, so let's start. We're going to dive right on in. Like I said, tonight we're really going to kind of look at the contract, and then we will talk about kind of the schedule. But the contract is really helpful. It will give you, it just has a lot of the information and expectations for the year. So I'm going to actually share my screen and pick the right one. Okay, so you guys should all be seeing the company member contract. Is that what you guys see? Yeah, we're good? Okay. So we'll kind of just go through the whole thing really quickly. I'm not going to read every single item in it, but I will highlight some important things that I just want, and things that sometimes where there's questions in the past, I'll highlight some of those things so that we can make sure we're really clear. When you receive the contract to sign, this is what it will look like. You'll have to add your signature to different spots, but this is it in its entirety. And you will notice that some sections won't necessarily apply specifically to Acting Company, because it will be talking about like musical theater or dance. This contract is the same across all of COPA. So they include everything in one spot, just simplifies it and keeps it easy for everybody. So if you choose to accept and then you choose to sign the contract for the year, this is what you're signing. Here at the very beginning, you'll just see all of the contact information for the Academy directors. Some are for Draper. It'll specify for Draper, TCA is our Tuacahn location, pop, dance, acting. If it doesn't say AF or Draper specific, it means that we're over both. So like I'm over both AF and Draper acting program. I'm just going to scroll down. This kind of just talks about what is in here, but I want to first just start by highlighting our mission. The mission of the company is to develop talents, confidence, and performance skills while experiencing purposeful performances in a spirit of camaraderie. I really love that, and I think it does kind of capture this is not, our program is not meant to be that every single person leaving here is going to pursue acting or music or dance or pop professionally for the rest of their lives. But it's to develop human beings and to help them gain confidence in themselves and develop their talents and really learn to work together as a team. Skills that can be utilized across all areas of people's lives. And it really is awesome, because I really do have such a firm belief in the power of the performing arts to do those things, whether you choose to do that the rest of your life or not. It teaches us like awesome things. So and then in the contract, it does go through the philosophy of kind of talking about like what COPA, what they offer. And if you'll see, if you scroll down to the bottom, to the last one, it says COPA's acting programs, the core value is process, not outcome. We do this through a wide variety of teaching styles and techniques we apply in classical, contemporary, and improvisational workshops. We expose students to the work of masters like, but not limited to, Meisner, Stanislavski, Hagen, Lavin, and others to help them discover techniques they understand and can adopt. COPA Acting Program strives to create young actors who embody a wide variety of approaches in exploring characters and creating performances that are absent of the need to focus on the final outcome. We know artistic growth is incremental and constant, and teach our students to enjoy the process. And I think there's a lot of like life lessons tied into here too. It's awesome to have those performance opportunities, but it really is about the growth. I think no matter what, we're looking for growth along the way. And sometimes we have like awesome, perfect performances. Well, maybe not perfect, but awesome performances. And sometimes we have performances where we were like, that did not go the way I wanted. And it isn't just about a performance. It's about the growth that happens incrementally along the way. And that is what we kind of focus on, that there's always things we can learn from each of these experiences, whether in the classroom or at the performance, but it is about process. The contract just goes on to talk about expectations, that we expect these kids to be positive role models, supportive and respectful of each other, as well as directors and parents, staff, all of those things. It is our goal for each of our company members to have a wonderful performing arts experience. Communication is key in making this happen. Exclamation point, exclamation point. I totally agree, both on my end and on our parents. And like, the more we can talk, if there's ever issues or situations or concerns, like, or like just talking through it, there's so much that can be kind of solved and resolved through that. The guiding principles in through here, and some of this is where I will let you guys read a lot, but we'll talk a lot about attendance, absences, all these specifics, conflicts, communication. I think the main thing is that I want to focus on is like, for attendance is so important. It's a little, when we get into companies, it's just different than when we're in classes. When a company is working on a performance that is so reliant on having everybody there, attendance is really, really important. We talk about a demerit system, and that just means like if we're having issues with somebody coming and they're missing an excessive amount, I'll scroll down the screen to that, and we'll talk about like what we need to do if that happens. But it's really important that if you have conflicts, if you have something coming up that your director needs to know, like, I understand, like sometimes there's like vacations or there's things that have been planned like a year in advance because of scheduling. Some of those conflicts, those really do need to be addressed as early as possible, and they need to be communicated with myself and with your students' directors, so that they are aware. And the earlier, the better. Let's see, I'm going to scroll down. Communication in here, it talks about if you have questions regarding tour specifically, you'll want to contact Branda Lee at Utah COPA. I can also direct you to wherever you need to go. Your directors can also send along the chain to kind of get to who it needs to be, but people are really pretty quick about answering emails and getting back to you. One important thing to talk about is conflicts. Sometimes we get in the run of the year, like conflicts that maybe kids aren't aware of, like they auditioned for something at school and get cast or in the community. And we think that's awesome. It is really important to take into consideration the commitment that you made with COPA, and talk through it with your company director. So often we can work through a lot of things, and it's not a problem. The main thing is really is that communication and how important that is. But do make sure, like if you're auditioning for a show and they'll ask for conflicts, make sure you put like COPA as a conflict for if you're auditioning for another show, if that makes sense. Sometimes people are hesitant to do that because they think, oh, maybe I won't get cast or whatever it might be. But it really, like, more often than not, it's not going to be a problem. And it is important to kind of communicate on both sides about what that might look like. If the student has excessive conflicts, they'll need to meet with the academy director to discuss a plan. And we've done that before. Sometimes, anyway, it's just by circumstance. So just make sure you communicate with that. So dropping out of company during performance year, company members sign a contract for the performance year, July 1st to June 30th, and may not drop from the company during that time. Should a company member stop attending company during the performance year for any reason, the company member will be required to pay the remainder of their company tuition for the year, as well as any costs related to tour performances. If there are extenuating circumstances, COPA may, in its sole discretion, provide other methods of resolving this debt. If the student is required to drop due to severe medical conditions, a doctor's recommendation and written letter declaring such is required. Additionally, COPA may, in its sole discretion, make an accommodation in the event an alternate can be found, in which case the company member will be required to pay the remaining tuition, monthly payment, and/or pay for private instruction for the alternate company member to learn the material. Prices of private instructions will depend on each individual instructor's rate. So just know that it is a year-long commitment, and that when you're signing the contract, that is what you're committing to. Documents, there will be a place for you to fill out some of this stuff. We talk about what we as COPA staff will make sure that we provide for the students. I'll let you read through that on your own. Again, they just want to make sure that you are aware that it's a 12-month commitment, and starting July 1st till June of next year is that monthly tuition and monthly what's it called, fee, or I guess it's fee. We'll look at those on the other page in a minute, but I'm going to scroll down to, it talks about responsibilities of company members, of parents. Okay, so the fee schedule, the cost for participation in a COPA company includes monthly tuition, monthly fees. There are a couple of one-time fees, and then and possibly tour payments. For both of our acting companies, we are going to have a little mini tour this year to the Shakespeare competition in Cedar City. So that will be another costs that you should take into consideration. The monthly fees, when you're being charged a monthly fee, those are like hard costs. Those are costs for like costumes for the year. We take our costs through the whole year. We really do try to think of anything. We never come back and say, oh, and now you owe this too, and you owe this too. That's why we've done the tuition, the monthly tuition, and the fee. One-time fees, there are like a couple, but I think it would be like a COPA t-shirt if you don't have one, and a registration fee. It's very minimal. So I'm going to pull up. So for example, if you go on to the acting company website and you go under companies and you go to acting company, you're going to be given options for AF acting or Draper acting. And when you click on either of those, it'll pull up the schedule. So like this is American Forks for the year. It tells you when rehearsals are, what the monthly tuition is. And then this is an add-on, is just like if you wanted to take like an additional class, it is discounted for our acting company members. And that's just optional. You just let us know and we can sign you up for that. Registration fee is a one-time fee every year, and a COPA t-shirt. We do a COPA t-shirt order one time a year, and the kids will have, like, if you don't have one already, then you can get one. They're not real expensive. They really just do it at cost. But that's the only other thing that kind of comes up in the year. The monthly fee then is also, so it's the tuition. Every month you'll be charged the tuition and the fee, the monthly fee. This year, so for those kids that were in like junior company last year, our tuition is a little bit more, but it's also because our company time is more this coming year. It's 3.5 hours instead of 3 hours a week. So that's why that went up a little. It's just because we've added a little more time. This gives you the important dates for acting company. This is here. This is on that website all year. So these are really important things to put in your schedule now. The big, as far as cost goes, the main difference this year is really just going to be the Cedar City Shakespeare competition. It'll be $650. They start the they break the cost of that $650 into 3 payments, and those payments will be July, August, and September. I in the contract, it will have, let me scroll down. In the contract, there is a place that has the tour payment schedule. This is in your contract. So Shakespeare is the one for our acting companies, COPA acting company for AF and Draper. Here's the payment schedule: July $250, August $200, September $200. We do have some options for some fundraising during the year. And I think the main fundraising things have been like selling swig cars, Little Caesars, like they have like different food things that your kids can just sell. When they, however they earn to like fundraise, can go directly into that COPA account and go towards, like if you've already started paying these, it can then take off, it would apply then towards whatever costs are remaining. So your monthly tuition or whatever it might be. But this is like the biggest thing, is to know that this would be coming up like soon, the beginnings of having to pay for this.
Hey, Megan.
Yeah.
There's a quick question in the chat too. Heather's asking if the fees include the 2 acting out camps, and that's a really good clarification. The acting out camps are actually not company. Those are an open class for just any kid for acting, your tuition fees do include the 1 week of camp that's in August. That is company camp. So on those special dates, those acting out, it was confusing to me too when I was looking at it, but the acting out camps are actually not part of company.
Yeah,
Is that
so
clear?
yeah, so thank you for clarifying that, Julie. That's great. Thanks for catching that. The acting out camp is just those are just like, if you want to do another summer camp, those ones are not included in the fees, but the acting company camp, the mandatory ones, those are included. So this is day one. And then in August, the 5th through the 8th, that's the other remaining 4 days of that camp. Those are included. You will not, I register the kids for those. You don't pay anything for those from like, in addition to what the normal tuition and fees are. The acting out camps are just there as, and I should probably, it might be good actually if I go in and just put like optional, like I'll add something to maybe clarify that because it is a good question. Okay, so all of these dates that are in here, the Shakespeare competition, that is in October. It's one of the very first, if not the first, out of all of the tours for like, or from all of the companies that happens in the year. And it's really awesome. It's a lot of fun.
Heather asked one more question too, Megan.
Yes.
And the answer is yes. Yep. You're divided into a 12-month paying contract. So your fees start in July, and that is why they'll start then.
Yeah.
Just to kind of make it easy and to bring some of the costs down in more of a monthly fashion for everybody is some of the reason that we do that.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. And they did bring it up like years ago. They had kind of like a town hall with like all the COPA companies, and they asked families like, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to have it spread out or how? And so at that time, that's kind of the model they went with because that was what people preferred at the time. But it will start July 1st of this summer, July 1st of 2024, and the last tuition and fee for the year is charged on June 1st of next year. So it is a 12-month commitment financially. And they've just broken it up that way to make it easier and consistent, I guess, for families. Okay, so on the company contract, so that is there, that information is there. And then there will be, you know, the kids will have, as part of their fees, there is designated this year a specific costume fee for like our Shakespeare play. So in past years, we've kind of tried to, we've asked, like sometimes there will be some things like for costumes where we're like, you just need to provide like a basic element. You need to have a black shirt or you need to have, you know, whatever. But this year we have divvied out some of those fees a little bit differently. Or not divvied out, but like allocated money differently to make sure that we have a certain set amount per child for costumes that should limit what parents or families would need to purchase on their own. Does that make sense? So we're trying to provide more that way this coming year. Okay. And you guys, if you do have a question too, feel free to unmute yourself and just ask. We're a small enough group that it doesn't bother me one bit too. Sorry, because I'm like, I have too many things going. So I wasn't seeing the chat. I apologize. Okay, so when it comes time, I will, once you have signed your contract, I will be I register your kids myself. And when that is all done, you will want to go into Studio Director. So on the website, you'll go into student login. If you have not ever, if you're new to COPA and have never created a studio director account, you'll want to do that because I can't register you until you've created an account. If you've already created one, you're fine. You're good to go. Once I have registered your kids for classes, you'll go into that account and you'll be able to see their schedule. Their schedule will look like this though. I mean, here is AF's and here is Draper's schedule, and it will have those classes listed at that time. The other thing that you're going to want to do after, I'm trying to remember when we have it done by, for sure by July 1st. You'll want to go also onto the COPA website, and you'll want to go.
It did say July 1st on the email.
Yeah,
So
okay.
July 1st is when those calendars will be ready.
The calendars will be ready, and you can go into COPA calendars, and you'll want to just download the general calendar, like general calendar American Fork or general calendar Draper. And then you're going to want to scroll down to find, so these are dance calendars, music, dance, theater calendars, acting calendars. This is from this last year. So disregard that there's, different options here, but there will be a COPA acting company for American Fork and a COPA acting company for Draper, and you'll want to make sure you download that as well. Okay, adding that to your calendar is really important. And again, you have the dates. Like we really do. It is very, very rare that these dates change.
The nice thing about having that general calendar is that it also tells you what the studio is doing. So there's a few times where the studio is closed for an MDT performance and acting company will not meet. Or what holidays do we do that align with like the school districts and stuff like that. Draper sometimes has different ones, closures. So these calendars are super important. July 1st, downloading that and the acting one will give you it'll download it right into your Google or your iCalendar. And it's like the easiest way for us to be able to know what we're doing and where we're going and where you need to be.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, that is really, it is important. Okay, so I'm going to turn the time over to Julie, and is Scylla, I don't know if Scylla's on here. I haven't been looking too much yet, but Julie, I'll turn the time over to you. Do you want to just talk about like kind of the dates and like the sections this year?
Yeah. Yes, I do. Hi, you guys, everyone who's here. I'm so excited. Thank you for having your kids come and audition. They killed it. I am so excited. We have some newbies and some oldies, and they all did great. And I'm so proud of them. And they're making my decision very hard, which all of the kids who are on right now, no, I have not cast it just yet because you all made it very, very difficult. So
maybe
I'm
we
still
should
working on it.
Julie, announce what Draper's doing and announce what AF is doing.
Oh, yes, this is exciting. Okay. Some of you know because we announced it at our final improv performance, but AF is doing Romeo and Juliet, the tragedy, but we'll see how tragic we go. We may go a little comedic. I don't know. And then Draper is going to do Macbeth. No, just kidding. Hamlet. Not Macbeth. Hamlet.
But
Hamlet.
I ran the acting auditions for Draper, and the same, like those kids were so great, and I was like, I'm so excited. In fact, I was like ready to tell Scylla, like, hey, forget it. I'm gonna teach. I'm gonna direct. They were great. Such a great group of kids. I just loved it. So it's exciting. So that Shakespeare play is the first section that we work on. And Julie, you can continue.
Yeah, that's going to be our first section. That is the one that I would hope that you spend the most time looking at the dates and making sure that your schedule really, really is open enough to have your kid be very, very available. It is an ensemble piece, so their availability during company camp and during that section is vital. We have a lot more leeway when we move into the film section and a little bit of the improv section, where if they wanted to do a school production second semester, it might be a little bit easier to work with. That first one, though, it's like very, very difficult on everybody if you are missing or if your kid is unable to attend. Also, please look at the performance schedule, which shockingly, one year we had somebody who left to Hawaii and could not be in the play and didn't realize that they had signed up for that time. So just check the dates and make sure you're really aware of that. The second section that we do is our film. So we really feel like as an acting department, as we've worked on this and built this is going to be my 4th year doing it, which is crazy. That we want your kids to have the contemporary piece, which involves major use of the body and a lot more projection and diction and understanding of language and of script and text analysis, which is really important. When you go and see a Shakespeare play and you understand it, you know that we did our job, right? That a kid can convey the message. They're learning how to understand text, which is huge. Then we move into film, where we really want them to almost dial it all the way back and really give us a super duper relaxed performance where it's contemporary and feels honest and true, and like they would be able to go out and work in the industry right now, which is really cool. And we do record like little reels that will give them usually contrasting pieces, 2 monologues we do, and then we record them at a certain location and give them a chance to feel what it feels like to be filmed. And those are really cool to have. You can take them. A lot of agencies, if you're looking to sign your kids with an agency, they will want to see something they've done. And this is a great thing for you to be able to give them. So that's a cool thing. And then our third one is improv. And improv is always the kids' very favorite. And it is giving them the tools to go through future life in any endeavor that they have, to be able to think on their feet, be honest and true, and to make sure that they're listening to the people around them. So improv is super cool. We do a big performance down at Comedy Sports, which is like one of the first places that was doing improv in Utah County. And it's really fun. It's a good wrap up for the end of the year. But we feel like that those 3 techniques of acting really give your kids an overarching, like they are really going far more in depth into acting techniques than you will see at most studios. A lot of studios do a lot more work with the music and the dance, which is really, really great. COPA does that with their music theater program and their music dance program. But in our acting thing, it's an intensive. I mean, they are learning things that I was learning in college. So it's really just such a great opportunity. I believe in the program. I have seen these kids, like I worked with one kid for 3 years, and the amount of growth that I saw in him as a person and in his acting skills is just, it's unmatched. So we're always excited. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, that's awesome, Julie. I totally second that. And whether I mean, I just have to say too, the kids and even adults that get hired, um, that can act, and even if they are like really great singers or dancers, but those that can act, it is a deciding factor. It just is. It makes such a huge difference. So I love that we get to focus on it and do it. It's awesome. Okay, let me see. All right, so I mean, a lot of what we've talked about, again, the main things to be aware of is when you get the contract, really read through. If you have any questions or any concerns or clarifying questions or whatever, please do not hesitate to reach out. I'm just so more than happy to answer or to talk through stuff. The demerit system is really just it's really just about, being present. If we have issues where we have too many absences, then it kind of talks in here about like, you can only have so many demerits in one section of time. It's talking on the contract. Don't get confused when it's saying like the January concert. Some of those are specific to MDT, as far as the timing goes. But for us, it really is more just like, especially before like Shakespeare play or before a main performance, like looking at that and like like making sure you're present. So, and it does give here in there, if you have, let me see. That really, I mean, again, it kind of goes back to like, it is up to the discretion of the, academy director, the company directors, if there is, you know, if they aren't there and they're not present and they've had too many absences, to pull them from a performance, that is an option. We really haven't had a huge problem with that. Like we have had where somebody didn't pay attention to like a performance and then they had planned a family vacation and then they didn't do the performance and they weren't like refunded money for that because the information was given to them to begin with. But we've never had a problem where we've had to pull somebody in like because they just haven't shown up and we've said you can't do it. That's never really been a problem, but just know that that is something that is in the contract, that is a consideration. Okay, I see another question here really quickly from Heather. Are there any collaborations between the AF and Draper companies? There is not collaboration between them. However, they will both go to like the Shakespeare competition. So they will be together. Both companies are not huge in numbers. It's a growing, I mean, this is new. The MDT program at COPA has been going now for, I don't know, 20 years, 15 years. I don't even know, for quite a while. So it's grown over time. Our acting company in Draper, this will only be the second year. And in AF, this will be the fourth year, right? That seems right. Yeah. So they're slowly, it's like any program, we're growing it and kind of working. They don't really get together as a larger group for things, but I will be honest, like having a small company, the one-on-one attention to that the kids get with directors and stuff is like awesome. It's awesome that we are able to keep our companies small enough that they get that attention. I'm hoping Draper, I'm hoping that we will have about 10 to 11 kids in that company. We're still adding a few, and that's actually a really great group of kids. They had an awesome year this past year and a great feel and collaboration with those kids.
Yeah, with acting, like you really, especially with one, we usually have one teacher and a TA. Anything above like 15 is too many. So don't feel like they're missing out if the opportunity is. It's just more of an opportunity for them to build collaboration. So I mean, and camaraderie. We felt like our company last year was 10 and it was such a tight group. They're all good friends. Like we had such a good time, and like it's really, really nice. I know that sometimes that's a detriment. Even like I had a child who did one of the other ones, and there were 30 kids in it, and it was difficult just building friendships and stuff like that. So that's one thing I love about acting company actually, is that we are able to keep it a little bit smaller, but that's on purpose.
Yeah. So I think, honestly, that is really kind of most of the stuff. I'm so happy to open it up now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but just to questions, or if there's any other things that you guys have questions about, feel free to unmute yourself and ask away as well.
Hi, I do have a question about how things are billed. I know that it's like split up throughout the 12 months. Are they always itemized like on the receipt, or is it just like this is how much it is every month? I mean, obviously we could be calculated outside of that, but I'm just curious how it goes up.
When you do get a statement, so you'll get a monthly statement, and before they run the card, you'll see that statement. And on that statement, I believe it's itemized to tuition and fee. I'm just trying to remember when I see
It is.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
It,
Yeah.
okay, good. I'm like,
You'll get
I
an
have seen
email.
my
Yeah.
own.
You'll get an email that says like the fees for the month, the tuition, any discounts that are on there, and then it'll have the full amount that they're charging every month. And they usually send that a couple days before they charge your card.
Yeah. And
So
our office staff
yeah.
is awesome. So like if you see something on there and you have a question, do just reach out and ask and inquire. And that is, it was super helpful as well. Yeah, I know sometimes it's always that it's like we want to make sure as parents that we know what we're committing to. And yeah, so
I have a question.
yeah.
Okay, so Tessa, our family has our beach trip in August. She could come to the 5th and the 6th of August of the camp, but she wouldn't be able to come to the other two. Is that a pretty big deal? We're just trying to figure out.
Well, I mean,
Is that like a deal breaker?
it's not a deal breaker. It is not a deal breaker. We say it's mandatory and we really do, like if there's anything you can do to be there. And like if you can be there for 2 days, like that's awesome. But we also understand that like these dates were just given to you when you audition. And I mean, most of us, like you're making plans way in advance for summer stuff. So the main thing is just to communicate with us about it, and then we'll work with your director. The first day in June, the first company camp day, that's June 22nd, the kids will be given their parts and be given their scripts. I know in like the acceptance stuff, I'll get some, when people have mentioned like, oh, I can't be there for this, or we had a conflict. We will work with you to make sure your child gets a script and knows and we do that first day so we can give them the script so they can start working on memorization before those August camp days.
Yeah. And the best thing might be that if like it's just really important that Tessa or anyone that did need to miss something like that they're taking the initiative. Like this is a step up from, open classes. So we do expect like outside work as far as memorization, making sure that you are memorized before you come to class. We do not want to spend any of our time in company happy to help anybody memorize. We want to use it to act and to be moving and to be doing what we're doing. So as long as they're understanding that commitment, I'm super easy to work with. You know what I mean? So Tessa, take it seriously. I believe in you.
But it's true. And I think a lot of it is like, it is that step up and it's the expectation, our kids can do hard things. And they can do, and like fun things, like it's fun. It's not, but it does take effort. I mean, and memorization is, I think like the least fun part of what it all is. Once you get that memorization done and can start playing and doing, it's the best. So, but yeah, rest assured, just communicate with us and then we'll work through that and get it all figured out. It is not like you can no longer be in company. So yeah, any other questions?
Do we know like approximate times of when those camp days will be?
Yes, it is 1:30 to 4:30.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's on, was it in the email? I'm just trying to, I have so many different documents that I work on and I know different places where it is, but in the casting email, was it listed on there at the time? I think it was, but you can go back through and look there for sure, but it is there. The other place you can find it is if you go under summer, like utahcopa.com and look under like summer, and it has the summer camp page. It'll have all the company dates there and the time listed as well.
Okay. So. And so is it 1 to 4:30 on all of the 22nd and the ones in August?
Mm-hmm. Same day. Yeah. Same time of day for all of those.
1:30
to
and
4.
it is in your it's in your the casting one that came out. It's actually it's highlighted just the ways down. It's bright yellow. But yeah,
Okay.
1:30 to 4:30, all those days.
Perfect.
I have a quick question about Cedar City.
Yeah.
Because hotels book really quickly for the Shakespeare Festival. So it
Yeah.
says the 3rd through the 5th. Is
Uh-huh.
it something where we could come on the 3rd, or will we need to come on the 2nd?
We will leave the 3rd. That's a Thursday. We'll leave that morning, and then we'll come home, and we'll be home on Saturday night,
Okay.
the 5th. So it'll be
Perfect.
just 2 nights. Brandalee, who oversees that, like we have been, we've already been working on, like,
Alyssa, is your hope to like come and watch? Is that what you're hoping to do, is book something to come see and watch the kids?
Yeah, I guess I just don't know how that worked. I just assumed it was like a dance competition where we needed to book our own.
No.
Oh,
So
okay.
no, it'll all be taken care of. The 650
great.
actually, and Brandalee will send out an email to you guys, but they actually even include, I think, a couple meals, right, Megan?
yeah,
Within that?
sometimes, well, so sometimes we'll
Depends on-
specify, yeah. It depends on the time of day. So sometimes, but it also, so it'll include the hotel. It includes, like the chaperones, like us is, like I will be going,
Transportation.
transportation. It includes, they will get to see 2 professional shows, with the
Cool.
Shakespeare Festival.
Okay, great.
Trying to remember which 2 we signed up for. We already had to like reserve
I
tickets.
think Much Ado About Nothing and 39 Steps, maybe?
I think so. I'm trying to remember. It's been a minute.
Possibly. Don't bank on that one, but I
But
think
just
Brandalee will
know, those
They're
are
good ones.
they're
all good.
awesome. They're always like the caliber. I mean, they're all professional actors, so they're awesome. So all of that is included in that 650.
Okay. So that's just something we just send our
Yeah.
kid on.
Mhm.
Okay.
Some parents have come down and watched. The rounds are open to the public, but you
Mhm.
won't necessarily know the day your specific child. We might know a little bit sooner than later when our ensemble piece performs,
Mhm.
but we might not know when you're like, so there will be one ensemble piece that everyone in the group will do. And then there are a couple monologue spots and a couple duo trio spots that might be auditioned for even within the group,
Okay.
and those might go to 1 or 2 specific kids, or whoever is in the starring part in the in the scene might have a monologue part, right? That hasn't been decided yet, but we won't know some of their dates until we get closer. But it is open. Parents could come down if they wanted to, but it definitely is like you
Yeah.
can set it and forget it if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like,
Thank you.
Heather just asked to like, parents can come down and like get their own hotel if they want.
Yeah.
But you would have to do that like separate from like what our group, like with
Mhm.
we kind of coordinate. The performances aren't videoed. However, like when we do the ensemble piece, like one of us always films it, like just like one of us that are there. But they have like the ensemble piece is performed once during Shakespeare competition. The monologues and the duo and trio scenes, those are performed 3. They do 3 rounds. And what's awesome is the kids all get to go see each other, and they have different people in each rounds. And so it's such an amazing like learning and growing experience, whether you're doing a monologue or not. Watching and observing, and then the adjudicators are professional actors that are there, and Shakespeare or teachers or all sorts of different people they pull in. They give really great feedback. So it is definitely, it's a competition, but it's really more, I would describe it more as an educational experience. Like there is the growth and the things that they learn, and the feedback they get, and
there are workshops that there will be workshops that we'll be attending throughout the days and things like that teach different skills. And there's something else I was thinking of too. Oh, I believe we probably will do a performance of the pieces before our one act. So like as a short little performance, just depending on the pieces. I think we did that for Senior Company. right,
Yeah,
Megan?
we did it like as a little pre-show before they did their
Right,
one
right, right.
events, yeah. Um,
Yeah.
so there's, I mean, it's really awesome. It's really cool. It's a cool experience. And they do group them, like the big high schools that come throughout Utah, they're grouped into different categories, just like sports, like 5A, 4A, 6A, they group them into different divisions. For our kids, they'll all be kind of in that middle school age, and they're also as a studio, so they're in a division that is specific to that, to their age, as well as what they're, you know, what they're coming from. So it's really cool. It's awesome. Yeah, if you have questions about that, let me know. Anyone else? It's exciting. It's fun talking about all the fun stuff for the year. There's lots of great stuff. If you have more questions, please feel free to email me, call me. Again, I'm happy to help. And just remember, in order for us to send a contract, you do need to fill out that acceptance form. I believe we put June 1st as Saturday as the deadline for doing that. So, and hopefully this answers some questions for those that are trying to make decisions and decide exactly what works for you guys this year. I hope that's been helpful tonight too. So anyway, anything else? I think we're good. If you're watching this later, hello, we'll see you. Okay, awesome. Well, have a wonderful night. Let me know again if you need anything else. Appreciate it. Okay.
Okay. See you soon, everyone.
Bye.